Yo, what's good? It's Ducky Trip here, and today we'll be reviewing a film released in 2006 called The Inside Man. This film was directed by Spike Lee and the script was written by Russell Gewitz. The major actors for this film are Denzel Washington as Detective Keith Fraser, Cliff Owen as Dalton Russell, and Jodie Foster as Madeline White. Fun fact, Spike Lee actually won multiple awards in the past, and his biggest achievement yet was that he won the Oscar in 2015. Now without further ado, let's dive right into the story plot of this film. The story begins with a mastermind behind a bank robbery in Manhattan has planned that the heist in great details, and the detective Keith Fraser tries to negotiate with him, but his plan failed as an involvement of a broker worsened the situation more further. Now let's dive right into the principle of film form shown in this film. The first principle shown in this film was film function, which refers to the role of a character being justified, which is motivated. For instance, Dalton Russell is justified for his existence, like when he takes in the hostage, and this shows that he is fulfilling his role as a robber. Next, we'll talk about the development which shows the progression from the beginning through the middle and to the end. For example, at the beginning of the scene, the main protagonist thought that the antagonist would hurt the hostages if the jet was not ready in time, but as the movie progresses, he suddenly realized that he was making a false request just to drag time to actually plan out his real escape. Last but not least is unity. Unity of a place was applied as everything was taken at the same place, which is the bank located in Manhattan. Other than that, unity of action was also displayed as the actions shown in this film are related to the main story plot. For instance, Dalton Russell taking in hostages while robbing the bank, and this is related to the story plot as it is about a heist. Last but not least, unity of tone was applied as well because emotion and feelings of the film stays the same following the genre and is unchanged. Now let's talk about the narrative structure, and which is breakdown into 5 components in this film. First, exposition. Exposition is the introduction of the film that shows where the event is taking place and where the characters are presented. The exposition starts when it shows that Dalton Russell and his assistant walks into the bank and starts taking hostages, while the main protagonist was ordered by his chief to put a stop to the bank heist. Next is the rising action. Rising action shows the suspense and excitement of the film starts building up. For example, in one of the scenes, Dalton Russell starts forcing the hostages to give up their phones and keys, but one of the hostages denied and lied to him. When Dalton Russell finds out, he starts beating him up in the room, which increases the suspenseful atmosphere in the film. Next is climax. Climax is when the suspense and excitement reaches its peak. For example, Dalton Russell faked a death of one of the hostages, and Keith Fraser actually thought he really killed a hostage. After that, Keith Fraser and the people of the NYPD starts rushing in and towards asking Dalton Russell why did he do that. Next is falling action. Falling action is when the film becomes less intense and the atmosphere becomes neutral. This happens when Keith Fraser and his partner starts negotiating with the hostages to find out who the real suspect is, but ended up none of them know who the suspect is and none of them were the suspects, and the chief wanted them to close this case. That's a bummer. Lastly, resolution. Resolution shows the conclusion or ending of the film. In the end, Dalton Russell made it out alive as he came out from the hiding spot that he and his team made in the bank, and he really did walk out from the front door. But when he walks out, he coincidentally bumps into Keith Fraser and his partners, but they didn't notice that it was him. So he successfully made it out from the bank and walking out of the front door. All in all, I think it was a brilliant movie as the storyline was interesting, it was well scripted, the settings, everything really complemented the narrative structure of the film. And then for me personally, I will give it a 4 out of 5 just because it was really suspenseful, it was really intense, the atmosphere, the storyline was well constructed, and I really like this type of film. Well, that's all for me. Peace out, guys.